Beats Planet.
Yeah. Let the theme just dissipate slowly. What's good, y'all? What's crack-a-lacking? I appreciate your patience. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I appreciate that. Just a quick update on the rollout. I know everybody's been curious about this rollout. I continue to speak of. Hey, man, it's on the way. Is on the way. If you're in my Discord or like my Patreon or something, like I'll be dropping little hints in there about my improvement and how things are coming. The production of this channel will be immaculate. Y'all stay tuned. Y'all hang tight. Y'all hold it down for the Doski Woski, you know. The Peasky Whiskey is free. There's a big basket of it at the door. You better hurry up because they go fast. You know what I mean? Hang tight. But until then, until we get the full-blown rollout, we just gonna do it how we been doing. I appreciate y'all for being here. It is approximately early as hell for me to be doing a live stream, but I had film scheduled. Okay, so I'm gonna drop that film at 2. So you know, I like to accompany my films with live streams or my lives with films. You know what I mean? They kind of work hand in hand nowadays. I kind of like that process. Y'all kind of get my thoughts. You listen to me filibuster for a minute. You listen to me soliloquize. I know I made that word up for a minute, you know, for an hour or so. And then we throw that film out and let y'all digest that. Then I go work out so I could be an old man one day. You dig? So anyway, for those of you that are kind of like new, like you may have been here, but you probably haven't like watched like a live stream in a while or whatever. I got like a new way of doing my thumbnails, and it just tickles the hell out of me. I just think it's so creative. You know, Ozark, I don't know if y'all watch Ozark, but it's a show on Netflix. But what they do is on their open screen, they show you like 4 little pictures, 4 little symbols, and that kind of like directs you in what way the show going, but you don't know what the hell it is. But you just kind of you know, like it could be like a baby carriage. You're like, okay, cool, a baby carriage. What does that mean? Right. And then later on, some mob dude pulls a rifle out the baby carriage and start killing people. You know what I mean? I like the whole foreshadowing deal. So I'm gonna start doing my my live stream thumbnails like that. And I ask y'all, could y'all kind of like predict what y'all think the thumbnail is gonna be? And everybody was wrong for the most part. Like some people had some parts right, but boy, y'all was all over the place. So before we get started though, you know, appreciate y'all. Hit the like for the algorithm and all that good stuff. If you watching this on demand, like leave your comments and all that, because y'all deserve a little bit of you know, a little bit of pat on the back too. Appreciate y'all for watching later. And hell, man, everybody else, man, tell a friend about this thing, man. Tell a friend before we get started officially. You heard? So with that being said, let's run this for the cardio. So it's funny because the first pick is Randy Moss catching over Charles Woodson. All right, cool. Of somebody being Moss, and somebody thought Woods was gonna hop in and talk about CeeDee Lamb or Michael Gallup. No, I'm talking about Voch Lombardi. Before we get started for real with the Dallas Cowboys content, Big Game James had a fantastic idea. I called into his show last night, or to the, you know, late night hype show last night. And he informed me that, you know, one day if we all get together, if we're all in the area for like a game or, you know, training camp, if they let fans through, that he wants to have a charity YouTuber 7-on-7 or, you know, whatever 4-4-5-5, whatever flag football game, right? He says he wants the YouTubers to come together, and he think just because he work out a little bit and you know Voch a little pudgy, he think he could just run past me. Voch one of them pudgy fast running people, and I ain't play football not too long ago. Right? I'm 28. James, what, 50 now? However the hell old James is now. So James called me out. He was like, "Yo, Voch, would you come through and, you know, we gonna boom pick this up, and we gonna have this like charity football game or whatever." You know what I mean? James making the rules and all that. And my competitive nature in me just couldn't duck the smoke. You know what I mean? Just the competitor in me just couldn't deny. You know what I mean? It was kind of like an addiction, and I likened it to. Yeah, I remember John Wick. He put all his guns in his little Pelican case, and he put it in his basement, and he put some damn cement over it, and he was like, "Look, man, I'm retired. I'm not gonna assassinate anymore. My guns are in this cement case under the house. I can't get to them, even if I wanted to. I'm retired. I'm out the game." However, John Wick didn't know that there was a caveat to get him back into the game. He didn't know that if somebody killed his dog and stole his car, John Wick would indubitably be back in the game. They didn't know that, though. They didn't know that. If they knew John Wick got back in the game and all you had to do was kill his dog and steal his car, they wouldn't have killed his dog and stole his car if they knew that got John Wick back in the game. I was minding my business, retired, chilling, just wanting to enjoy the late night hype show. And Big Game James stole my car and killed my dog. So right when I thought that I was retired, right, I picked up that little pickaxe that I keep under the table just in case of emergencies, and I started busting that concrete up. And now I'm out of retirement. So, you know, it's interesting. This is how corny I am, right? Like, I was just kind of working out just to kind of be a healthy old man one day. Like, I was just kind of jogging around. Oh, but today, Voch going to hit the hills today. Voch going to run some hills today. Voch going to get an extra mile in today. Voch going to get the extra workout in. Voch going to do some ladders. Voch going to do some footwork drills. We're going to do some body squats and some planks when we get home. Big Game James want to smoke, and he wanted it on camera. I can't explain the addiction of smoke. You know what I'm saying? But I also don't hate on people that's on drugs, right? Like some people vilify people on drugs, or they shame or they shun people on drugs. Well, I can't make fun of people on crack because they can't deny that crack. I can't deny Chick-fil-A milkshakes and smoke. You know what I'm saying? I drive past smoke going, you know what? It's very unhealthy to indulge in smoke. I'm not gonna indulge in smoke because it's not healthy. But my addiction kick in, them endorphins start to firing off. Okay? And my endocrine system start to react. And my respiratory system bumps up 3 notches. Now it is time for a smoke. So Big Game James is in charge. I'm letting him make the teams, but he just want to be on the opposite side of me. You know what I mean? He don't know what the layout gonna be. He just felt like it was cool, you know, that he thought he could shut down Voch Lombardi. He just thought it was sweet that since he played DB in the 80s that he could shut down Voch Lombardi. Cool. So when you see Randy Moss in the thumbnail, that's what I'm gonna do to Big Game James. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I'm gonna do to Big Game James. You heard me? That's what I'm gonna do to him. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. You know? Yo, but Voch, why do you got Randy Moss on the screen? You saying you gonna do? Yes, I'm gonna do Big Game James like Randy Moss did Charles Woodson in this pick. And you know the bad thing about it? You know the bad Abraham be sucking up air. That's why I'm going to go work out. You know the bad thing about it though? I'm gonna get it all on film, and after I smoke Big Game James, you know it's gonna be a film session about it. Oh, you know I'm gonna drop the film for the culture. You know I'm gonna break it down. You know I'm gonna break down the nuance. You know I'm gonna break down the details. The details. This how bad I am with smoke. This how terrible I am when it comes to engulfing smoke, right? I always make like analogies and allusions to other things that happen or whatever. I don't know if y'all like UFC fans or fight fans or whatnot, but you can not be a UFC fan. You've probably seen this fight. And if not, you could just get my analogy if you use your imagination, right? But Ronda Rousey was fighting Miesha Tate, right? This was in the UFC, so this was their second fight. Right. And I thought the illusion of their walkout music was so indicative of how the fight ended up going. Like Ronda smoked Miesha, but Miesha came out smiling and shit, walking in slow motion, listening to Katy Perry, high-fiving fans, You know what I'm saying? She was throwing up heart hands and all that kind party in the USA. You know what I mean? She was just real happy. She was like, all right, we're going to engage in some friendly competition and this should be fun. And then Ronda Rousey come out, she run down the ramp with some gangster music in the background. She ain't saying nothing to face. She frowning. She ain't high-fiving no fans. She ain't showing no love. She can't wait to get in the ring and put hands on Miesha Tate. In my mind, that's how I think me and Big Game James gonna be. He gonna be over there listening to Montel Jordan or Boyz II Men or something. I'm gonna walk in listening to UGK, Return of the Trio. You know what I mean? Because that's how I feel. That's my addiction to smoke. That's just how I feel. Got the mental image of Voch training like Rocket. Hey, man, whatever you got to do, whatever you say. I refuse to be embarrassed on camera. I stayed up all late last night thinking about the routes I'm going to run. Like, if we got a best 2 out of 3 one-on-one, I've thought of my 3 routes already and how I'm going to set them up. Tell James to line up, bro. Tell James to line up, bro. And if it's any UGK fans, y'all know how Return of the Trio come on. That's how I feel. So yeah, man, just add that to my list of addictions, bro. Like Chick-fil-A milkshakes, they definitely up there. I know they bad for my health. I indulge in them anyway. Boy, I can't wait to see Big Game James. Well, he said he gonna come down for training camp or whatever. If they let fans in training camp or whatever, and we holler at some people over there, we gonna do it at the Star. There's a big field out there in the Star, and if they just kind of let us up in there, ball game player. Anyway, I ain't here to talk about me. I'm here to talk about me. I'm kind of sort of quasi here to talk about me, but I think it's a great idea, man. Big Game James wanted to do it, bro. He mentioned that there would be some kind of charity involved, so whatever ends up being raised for it, you know what I'm saying? It'll be dope to just kind of sit down and figure out where it would go. You know what I'm saying? So I do like the idea. I do support the you know what I mean, the notion behind it. I just need Big Game James to understand that with this football body, I ain't played football not too long ago, right? So I'm still relatively straight, right? I'm still relatively in good shape. But with this football body come a lot of nuance. It comes a lot of nuance. So you could just think that you just gonna roll up. You could just assume that Voch a little fluffy, that Voch slow, or Voch quick, or Voch ain't got nuance. Line up, buddy, and make sure your camera's recording 1080p, Playboy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? I want your camera 60 frames per second. 60 frames per second when I put that route running on you, Playboy. And then make sure you stretch real good, because I don't want to carry nobody around. I don't want to have to drape nobody on my shoulders. I don't want to have to, help the old man around. Do your stretches, Big Game James. Do your stretches, because I don't want to be held responsible for you. Remember what DeAndre Hopkins did to DeAndre Hall on Hard Knocks? I fear God, homie. All of a sudden, he don't have no ACL. I don't want that to happen to you, Big Game James. Hello, Miss Jackie. How are you? You just happened to catch me in a very, very peculiar moment there. Set it up, man. 7-on-7 football for charity. The YouTube 7-on-7 football for charity. I'll go extra and get jerseys made and all that good stuff. If we gonna do it, let's do it for real. And let's run it for the cardio. You dig? All right. Now let's get into some actual Cowboy football, man. Get off of me, mossing Big Game James there. Now. Moving on to my second topic, I was thinking about this, right? So, and this partially has a lot to do with my third topic or whatever, but I was just kind of going down the list of the teams in the National Football League, and I was just kind of looking at their rosters or whatever. Do y'all think that any other team have the corners to compete with us? Right? Because what's going to happen is, like, like I always make the examples of like Eagles fans and all that, right? Like they say, oh, we got Darius Slay now. All right, we're going to shut down Amari Cooper. Cool, but like the guys that couldn't cover last year, they're still your second corner covering our flanker guy, and they're your nickel guy now. So, what's the difference between us smoking Ronald Darby on the outside and smoking him in the nickel? Or smoking Sidney Jones on the outside and, Sidney Jones still going to be on the outside. Okay, cool. So, one corner just ain't going to do it. You got to kind of, you kind of got to have multiple guys. So I'm just like, who got corners? Who's got enough corners, right? Because you just can't scheme your way into beating the Cowboys, right? Like, just based on how our team look, you would have to bring a little more nuance to the table. You would have to bring a little more you need traits. You need some attributes, man. Conor McGregor said that. You need some attributes. You just can't show up and just say, okay, we're going to do this, put you on that, put you on that, put you on that. You need guys. I think the Ravens are probably like the closest team to it. Let me look them up. Ravens. Let me look their depth chart up, because I don't think there's another team that got the cornerback manpower that can run with us, right? They got Marcus Peters, Marlon Humphrey, Jimmy Smith like a backup for them now. That's interesting. They got a guy named Tavon Young. Damn, that's what happened to Tavon Young? All right, cool. Tavon Young in the nickel. So even if you got two outside corners, right, is your nickel guy good enough to deal with CeeDee Lamb? And I think that's a very interesting question. If you ain't a team that got enough corners to deal with us, good luck to you. Good luck to you, right? Because I think part of what makes our receiving core so good is that even if one of us is having a bad game with the opposition, we got a couple more guys that can go. And just on a nuanced philosophy change, something I was thinking about, like look at what San Francisco did with their wide receiver core, right? If you look at their guys, like Deebo Samuel was a notorious yak guy in college. What's his face? They just drafted my man's from Arizona State, Brandon Ayuk, right? A notorious yak guy. All their receivers are notorious yak guys. George Kittle is the highest yak tight end in the league right now, right? So they resort to a lot of short passes. They may not get too busy deep wise, but they run the ball, they throw the ball short, and they get what they can yak wise. So we know that the Cowboys have this vertical attack because Dak Prescott is he has the second best deep passing rating. You know what I'm saying? And one of the highest deep passing attempts. He's like top 5 in attempts, second in like deep pass efficiency, and like first in like yards traveled or something like that. Somebody can fact check me on that. Even if that ain't the case, I know the numbers are close. So we can get deep ball going, but it's not like that's something that we can't do. I think some teams are yak teams because that's all they can do. AJ Brown is a super yak receiver because Tannehill just kind of get it to him and let him do things. DK Metcalf is a guy that gets the ball short and he just does things. I don't think we're going to be limited to that. When I was looking at our receiver core, we either evened out in yak or got better at yak, right? So if Michael Gallup comes back, we even out in yak because we had Gallup last year. We got Gallup this year. Amari Cooper comes back healthy this year. We get better in yak. CeeDee Lamb is a better yak guy than Randall Cobb. Blake Jarwin is a mile longer, more of a yak guy than Jason Witten is, right? So we can do more things on the offense schematically. So we can be deep pass team one day. We can be, quick pass yak team another day. We can work the intermediates however we want to. We could be a run first team if you want to. If you're a team that got multiple corners, you still got to stop the run. If you're a team that's going to stop the run, you got to have 3 corners to even make this thing relatively make sense. And I hope your linebackers can run because I got a tight end that can run now. Good luck to you. Somebody was asking me about CeeDee Lamb's targets or whatever. I think CeeDee Lamb is going to get more targets than Randall Cobb did. Let me explain why. Because I think some of Jason Witten's targets are going to go to CeeDee Lamb. A lot of Jason Witten's and Zeke's targets, they were dump off targets, right? So it'll be dun-dun-dun, this didn't work, dump it off, dump it off, dump it off. I don't think Jarwin gets a lot of dump off targets. I think Jarwin will have more yards than Witten because he could do more vertical things than Witten and more yak things than Witten. But Witten got a lot of targets and passes because he was just old faithful, right? Well, that's gone. So if Witten gets 80 targets, let's just say Jarwin gets 60. That's just an extra 20 or so targets to go around. You know what I mean? And some of those could go to Jarwin, but a lot of them could go to Lamb too. So I don't have any second thoughts in the world that if we get 3 healthy receivers, that we just got 3,000-yard receivers. I don't doubt it for 1 minute. I don't doubt it for 1 second. Who got corners? Chat box, let me check y'all out real fast. Let me pull my chat box up, see what y'all talking about. Like, it's kind of pulled up on my Mac. Let me pull up on the PC and take a sip of water. Do y'all think there's any corners in the league, any teams in the league that got enough corners to deal with us? San Francisco? I don't think San Francisco got enough corners, first of all, because I think they best corner ain't quick enough to keep up with Coop. Like, we've seen, what the hell is that? That's Foster King. I'm gonna call him back. We've seen Richard Sherman kind of get run around by these quicker guys. Well, I mean, they're gonna put Sherman on Coop and then what? He gonna pass the Glock to Fox and then what? 49ers. Let's see what we're talking about here. Let's see. Let's check out the 49ers corners here. Let's see if they got 3 of them. If you consider Richard Sherman, Akilo Witherspoon, I remember Witherspoon he played with Cheeto, and Kawan Williams in the nickel. If you consider those guys to be a top 3 cornerback situation that can play, then good luck to them. Good luck to them. San Francisco defense don't breathe around corners; they breathe around that D line, and everything else just kind of makes sense from that. Who got 3 corners that can really line up and play with us? I got Baltimore right now. I'm just going to say Baltimore right now. But besides them, like, who got 3 corners that can run? Like, for real, like all day. Chat box, please help me out. And of course, the phone lines are open. I don't know if I said that, but hold on. Let me make sure the phone's lit. Yeah, man, the phone's open. So if y'all want to call into the show, the number is 515-606-5187. Access code 309104 is on the screen. It's in the description. And y'all can feel free to chime in on this thing. But who got him? Who got him? Who's the big bad matchup that can do it? The Chargers. Let's look up Chargers. Let's hey, look, I'm trying to be educated today. I ain't just out here just the Redskins got Darby. Even better. I know we can smoke them. Good. One team we can smoke to another one. They say the Chargers. Cool. Let's take a look at Chargers. Land. I ain't just talking crazy. I'm trying to get educated today. If y'all really think, let's see. So they got Chris Harris on one side. He ain't even playing nickel. Okay, he's just on one side. And Casey Hayward. That's cool. That's a cool little. That's a snazzy little combination. And who they nickel guy? So if Chris Harris is their nickel guy, who's their other outside corner? Man, look. I think this is another example of their defense has hyped up the conversation a little bit more. Like, I do think the Chargers have a good defense, but I don't think that's in parts of their cornerbacks. I think they got some pretty interesting box play. I think they got 2 good edge guys, some pretty interesting cats in the middle. They got Linval Joseph now. That's interesting. So Joey Bosa, Linval Joseph, Melvin Ingram, and I remember Justin Jones, one of the Red Helmet gangs from North Carolina State. That's not enough, player. That's not enough. Patriots, Browns. I think the Browns might. I know they got Greedy, and they got what's his face? Denzel Ward. Let's see, Browns. We just educating ourselves today, man. We just having a conversation. Let's see what the Browns got. So yeah, they got Greedy and Denzel on the outside, but their nickel guy is Terrence Mitchell. Give me that. Give me that. You know what I'm saying? What they linebackers look like? They got a Sam linebacker, Jacob Phillips. Y'all think Blake Jarwin was smoking Jacob Phillips? What y'all think, man? Taki, that's the Boise State kid, I believe, from a couple drafts ago, from last draft. Yeah. So you know, their nickel guy. What's his name? Terrence Mitchell and Donnie Lewis Jr. All right now. All right, Terrence Mitchell and Donnie Lewis Jr. What's the vibes here? I'm gonna look up one more, and I heard my phones go off. Let me check and see what's going on over here. Yeah, give me 30 seconds, Drummer Cam. I'm gonna be right with you, sir. Let me type in Patriots. And let me get a look at that depth. I just don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough. And first of all, nobody that we playing this year, so that's a good start. We'll play the Chargers this year. I don't think we do. Let's see, McCourty, Gilmore. I think McCourty's a bit overrated because Gilmore on the other side, but I'll give you McCourty and Gilmore. Sure, fine. But I think Gallup is more McCourty. J.C. Jackson at nickel. Jonathan Jones at nickel. You know what? In real life, they got Belichick playing nickel. That's what it is. They got Belichick playing corner, so that's different. That don't count. But the good thing about the Patriots, they got corners, but they also got Jarrett Stidham. so Jarrett Stidham don't bother me neither. You know what I mean? Let's get into the phone and see what Drummer Cam talking about. Drummer Cam, what's up, man?
Hey, Voch, man. How you doing, bro?
Everything's everything, my guy. What you got for the show?
Well, I just want to tap on this real quick. By the way, your soliloquy that you put out,
Yes, sir.
that was fire.
Appreciate you, man.
The fact that you are man enough to stand up and say, this ain't just me.
Yes, sir.
There's a community wrapped around this, and you want to engage that, that's fire.
Yeah.
All right, so salute to you on that.
Appreciate you.
Chat box, it's my show. Put
Facts.
stuff to fires if you thought that video was fire, all right? Let me see those fire icons popped up. All right, anyways, let's talk football. Defense runs a lot of zone in a lot of different organizations.
Sure.
Okay? If you're going to run cover 3 against a guy on the outside like Gallup and Cooper, what do you expect to see in those routes? You're probably going to see some post curves or post corners, right? We're going to see them in those corners, those out routes. We're going to attack that zone hole with a Cooper. And then Gallup can take the other guy if we send him out or do a post or something like that. You can bend Jarwin up the seam and pull your safety. And now you've got CeeDee Lamb still in the spot to deal with. You still have Tony Pollard or Ezekiel Elliott coming out of the backfield to deal with. And if you're going to play zone 3, you're not going to have guys in the box run against Ezekiel Elliott. So how the hell do you plan to stop the Cowboys?
Sure. Look at what Kansas City's formula was last year, right? Because teams had to play zone against them because you just can't man up against those guys. But what Kansas City had to do is they had to earn the right to play man coverage against them, right? So they will play zone, but it's up to Pat to find those zones because if a team can play zone and beat you, they're just gonna keep playing zone. And good thing about Dak Prescott, we know he's good at finding zones and reading coverages like that. So when you beat the hell out of zone and you marching and you smoking zone, right? At some point they're gonna have to go to man, and when they go to man coverage, it's time to party.
It's gonna be dead. Don't be dead like fried chicken, man. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to it. Even like if you start. So yeah, we got our 3 wide receivers, right? So you talking CBs, but we know that's not where the matchups go. Like in football, it's not CB1, CB2 for the outside guys all the time. Mm-hmm. Typically, sometimes those get passed off into what kind of zone coverage. They may have to work the flat. Mm-hmm. You might have to have might have to work in cover 2 to get more guys down in the box. Sure. If they're worried about Zeke. And if you got cover 2, you still have Jarwin to run a seam, just like Jason Witten did. And like that play, if they run a blitz and they're in cover 2, and Jarwin's on the line and he gets audible to a streak or something down that seam, that's going to be 10, 15 yards right there. Like you can't, there's not a situation in my mind where I go, this, and this is going to stop the Cowboys.
Sure. 100%.
You know what's going to stop the Cowboys?
Cowboys.
Execution. That's right.
100%.
That's all I got, man. That's it.
Drummer Cam, thank you so much, sir. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Thanks for your call, brother.
Have a good one.
Yep, 100% believe that. Only team that can stop the Cowboys is the Cowboys. It's not an incredibly hard job to do. I say it all the time, and people be thinking, "Oh, Voch, you just funny. You braggadocious. We laughing, Voch. Go ahead on, slap my knee, Voch. Ha ha, you funny." I really feel like if I was offense coordinator, I'd take us to the damn Super Bowl because it's not hard. It's not hard. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot to be an offense coordinator, but once you know how to do it, you just kind of know how to do it, right? But then you give me all this weaponry, all this ammunition that the Cowboys got. All right, Voch, you're going to be the offense coordinator. Let's run it. Word? Cowboys offense was like 20-something. Kellen Moore came in 1 year, number one to the top two, top three. In all categories, all metrics. It wasn't no accident, man. It wasn't no accident. All we got to do is continue to build on that. Continue, to do what we do, and, we'll be fine. Brother Vaughn from Shreveport made a very interesting observation earlier, and I totally agree with him. He said he ain't worried about the corners, but he's worried about the front sevens, possibly. Sure, that's the thing. That's a real life thing, Every game's going to have his matchups. I ain't too much worried about people front seven either. I ain't too much worried about that. I think my center's gonna be fine as long as we do Voltron thing, as long as we work together, in unison, combos and all that. I think whoever the new center's gonna be, they're gonna be fine. Hopefully it's Connor McGovern, Tyler Badass maybe. Joe Looney get picked up and dropped on top of Zeke's head, I might have a fit. So that's just that. But I think we're gonna be fine. I think the front seven gonna be fine. Even if that's the case, you can have front seven all you want to. But if we getting rid of the football quick, man, good luck to him. Good luck to him. Hey, man, everybody stay in the house so we can get football on time, man. We need that. 214, what up? Who this? 214 hung up. All right, then. If y'all want to call into the show, boom, 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 boom. If y'all want to call into the show, the number is, I don't know my own number, y'all. I'm terrible. 515-606-5187, access code 309-104. It's on the screen. It's in the description. Phone lines are indeed open for anybody to kind of call in and give me your thoughts and opinions. If you want to talk about me smoking big game, James, you could do so. If you want to, I mean it. If you want to talk about me, talk about this whole corner thing, how we match up, matchups and mismatches versus other defense or whatever. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about. It's your thing. Do what you want to do. Okay. Move on to the third part of my thumbnail, man. You see Michael Gallup up there. This one was quite easy, and I'm also alluding to Jamal Adams and the title, and I really mean it. It ain't everybody, but there are some I Am Legend monsters that want to trade Michael Gallup for Jamal Adams. I'm not in that camp, man. I'm not in that camp. I think partially what makes your wide receiver core so good is that you got three guys that you have faith in, right? If you narrow that down to just two guys you got faith in, your wide receivers look totally different. We got some callers. We're going to get back on that in a second. Let's go. Let's get Joe up in here first, see what Joe talking about. What up, Joe?
Hey, what's up? Long time no chat.
Everything's everything, my guy. What you got for the show?
I think it's crazy some people want to trade Michael Gallup for Jamal Adams.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
Plus, is nobody talking about the fact that Jamal Adams is also protesting without a mask on?
Put your mask on, Jamal, so everybody can be healthy so we can have football on time. Absolutely, 100%.
But it's not necessarily just that, Voch. You also have to. You're doing that with a guy that you potentially have to pay.
Sure, 100%. Sure. And you know what though? I think Michael Gallup does so much for us being a top. I think he a top level receiver. He ain't like elite or nothing like that. He ain't like top 10 or nothing, but he's a very valuable number 2 guy. But to have that guy for cheap, I think that's way more valuable than having a safety that you're going to have to pay, like $16 a year? That's probably like the number or something. Like I just think the value's different.
Oh, right. And as far as I'm concerned, Michael Gallup is the second best production receiver that was in his draft class.
He's probably behind like Cortland Sutton or something.
Well, I don't think Cortland Sutton. I think it's just Calvin.
Calvin
Portland,
Ridley, yeah.
Because of the weird quarterback, whatever.
Sure.
Situation.
Sure. Calvin Ridley, that makes sense.
But, right. But the other thing is that I heard people want like a 1 or something plus Michael Gallup.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I think the Jets want that because I think they realize they might have made a mistake of drafting him.
Sure. 100%. Like, no other safety has gone top 10 in the past, decade or so? Something like that?
Actually, I did my Googles on this at one point for space.
Okay.
The average pick were the first safety off the board. Keywords first safety.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like average, like the last 6 drafts is pick number 27.
Yeah.
And the key thing in being first safety is not always the best safety.
Sure. 100%. Absolutely.
If you want to look at like some of these guys the Jets could have gotten and said, this is why they're probably Jets fans are mad, they want something else, they passed on Pat Mahomes, Marshawn Lattimore,
Sure.
and Tre'Davious White, who's playing at Buffalo right now.
Right.
And there's actually, I think I might be blanking on a couple other guys, but there's actually a lot of all pros that they pass on who are in more valuable position.
Sure, man. Some people think that I'm being disrespectful when I call Adams a box safety. I don't think it's being very disrespectful at all. He does his best work in the box, as a blitzer, as a run guy. You know what I mean? He's a box guy. I'm not putting Jamal Adams as a deep safety. I'm not doing it. People say, well, Voch, you can put him at deep safety. Well, you can put Jamal Adams at left tackle. That don't make it a good idea. It don't make it don't make it don't make it the best idea in the world. He works the best in the box, so there's nothing wrong with calling him a box safety.
Right. You can also have an espresso maker, but you can't charge like $100 a cup.
Right. Right. 100%.
But if you wanted to give me a strong safety, give me Derwin James. Actually can have some range to him.
Or we can just draft a safety. Or we could just run.
Yeah,
go ahead.
That's been my advocacy actually to space. Let's draft a guy because everybody was a rookie at some point.
Sure.
And last I checked, our front office is probably one of the best in drafting when they're allowed to do their job.
Sure. But I think it says something about the player, you know what I'm saying, personnel people. They don't want to draft a safety. So we should just give up and just move on with our life, man. Just move on with our life.
Right, just let 100%. You actually let the front office do their job.
Yep, 100%. Hey, appreciate it, Joe. I got a couple more callers, man. This was a very poignant call. You always put it down, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you taking my call.
Yes, sir. Y'all notice how I notice how my slang rub off on people, and I be like, do your Googles. And Joe said he did his Googles. Come on. Let's get Space Cowboy in here. Cardo, what up, man?
What's going on, Raj? How's it going today?
Cool and famo. Everything's everything. Doski Woski. What you got for the show?
Why in the hell am I already hearing some stuff about Michael Gallup now for the whole Jamal? Come on, man. Look, I number one, that's not how trade value works in the NFL. So to the peanut gallery, please stop. That's not how trades work. This isn't Madden. You can't just trade Michael Gallup at 85 or however his overall is for Jamal. No, but I do want to say because previous caller brought up a point about his value compared to his other draft mates.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at some statistics on Pro Football Reference, and it's interesting. Michael Gallup, he doesn't have the most yards out of that whole group of receivers. He actually averages the most yards per reception. He's been the most efficient receiver out of all of them, which is really damn good. I mean, he has more touchdowns than DJ Moore, who was first-round draft capital.
Right.
He's behind guys like Calvin Ridley and Cortland Sutton, but the bigger thing for me is when you look at it, you got a guy in Michael Gallup that the fact we're having these conversations about trading him for a guy like Jamal Adams is kind of crazy considering you just used a third-round pick on him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then not only that, Michael Gallup's the only receiver that's been to the playoffs out of this entire group. So, and he has a touchdown and 100+ yards. So there's that. You know how much we're paying Michael Gallup for the production he's putting up?
Like $28 or something. It's probably like 1 point something.
Yeah, like minimum wage. No, like we're paying as of right now. We're paying him $750,000.
Damn.
And that guy just had 1,000 yards receiving this year. And considering the fact you have him under contract for 2 more years,
yeah.
Honestly, if I'm the Cowboys, I wouldn't be mad if they threw money at Gallup early, give him his money, because like if you really want to keep this guy, you might want to do it now before
he goes the hell off.
Saying,
yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's if you want to pay him, because odds are if he continues getting those 1,000-yard receiving seasons or he ends up getting 10+ touchdowns, guess what? He's going to look for money elsewhere. And I wouldn't be like, I don't blame him, because it's like, hey man, you're a very productive receiver, considering the fact that we're even, having the conversation with him with second or first round guys in the same draft class. Is crazy enough.
Let me ask you a question.
So,
what's the perfect re-sign Michael Gallup number for you?
Like, honest to God, like if you said like if all things could work out kind of thing.
Yeah, like would it be like 8 or 10 or something?
Okay, assuming that the market is like for a number 1 receiver like $20 million, I would say between 8 to 12 mil.
Yeah.
I'm being dead ass honest, because it's like, and it's the problem though, is like we're saying that now, but like in a couple of years that market's going to be inflated maybe, or possibly deflated because of COVID. We don't know. Yeah. But for me, like, I would not be upset if you pay Michael Gallup 8 to 12 mil, but then the problem then becomes, what do you do with CD when he comes up? Because for me, I think CD is like your up and coming guy that you can groom, and so if Cooper or Gallup doesn't do well, you can keep Cooper or Gallup and you can pair them with CD and get another receiver to join them. So I think that another thing that isn't being talked about is how you can afford to let a guy like Michael Gallup go. Like before, if we didn't get CeeDee Lamb, we would be having conversations of, okay, we need to re-sign Michael Gallup as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But now you can kind of hold yourself back now, because it's like, well, hey, we have a receiver, a very dynamic receiver who I think can be best in the league type of receiver if he develops properly. And he has that luxury, right?
Yeah.
He's not going into like Oakland, or actually I should say Las Vegas or Denver, where he has to be that number 1 guy right off the bat, which I'm not saying he can't do. Absolutely he can do that. But guess what? He isn't as pressured to do so. So if he only gets hypothetically like 750 yards and a handful of touchdowns, that's fine, because we're not expecting him to put up a ton of yardage at first, because guess what? You already got your guy in Cooper already, and then you got Gallup, who's your number 2. And me personally, I think CeeDee Lamb can be your number 2 at some time down the line if he ends up, getting some chemistry with Dak, which, trust me, this is a very scary offense, man. I really, I know you were talking about, cornerback groups,
yeah,
and, seeing, which cornerback group can really compete. Honest to God, there's not even a defense in the league that I don't think is ready for this offense with what it's going to be doing. Because, you look back at 2019, and, you have that game, like the Packers game, where you're down 31-0 or 31-3.
Sure.
Honest to God, if CeeDee Lamb's on that football field, I guarantee you, and we have a better play calling and situational awareness, I think we win that game. I think we come back and win that game. That's how good CeeDee Lamb takes this offense. It takes it from, which is funny saying that, because we were number 1 in offense last year and, top 5 in every other statistical category.
Right.
This
is what really makes my head hurt about all this, right? So, when you're a thinking person, you kind of got to take all angles into consideration and perspective, right? So,
yeah.
So of course it'll have to cross your mind. All right, cool. We paying Coop $20 million a year, but he's only really guaranteed 2 or 3 years or whatever. I just let me look his number up. He's only guaranteed just a handful of years. Would it be better to, when the time comes, let go of Coop and move that money to Gallup and let Lamb be the number 1 guy? That's a real life conversation that you have. But this is the weird thing that makes it real difficult about Coop. Like, Coop 25 years old. You don't do that. You don't move on from that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like a stud wide receiver at 25 years old. Gallup 24, Lamb is 21. Are you joking me? Are you joking me?
Well, that's the thing. Well, yeah, because I'm looking at his contract details right now, and Cooper, he's going to get in 2022 so we have him unlocked for 2 more seasons. So when he turns 28, you can eject him. That's if he's not doing well. Mm-hmm. But the thing about it is, like, there could be a situation where Michael Gallup ends up being overshadowed by CeeDee Lamb, and his price tag comes down because, you know, he doesn't have a case to be like. And I'm not trying to say I want that to happen, because I want Gallup to have a 2,000. Like, I want him to do the best he can. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, I try to look at it in this sense, right? Yeah, if you lose Michael Gallup to free agency, guess what? There's going to be, like, I'm not saying he's bad, but there's going to be a sucker team out there that's going to throw 15 to 20 million at Michael Gallup.
Yeah.
And he might not fit with that team, right? Yeah. So guess what? Let's say that's like some NFC team. You look at that NFC team, they throw that money at Gallup, and maybe he just doesn't do well there, but I think he'll do fine because he's a fine player.
Sure.
But that's resources that other teams are going to be throwing at in free agency. And guess what? Well, they're throwing money at a receiver like Michael Gallup, and you still have Cooper and Lamb. You could just go into the first round or second round, get a receiver that could do maybe just as good or slightly above average with what Michael Gallup was doing, and you keep this whole thing rolling.
But this is my thing, though, Cowboy. Can I just keep Gallup, and can I push Jalen Smith off a bridge and just draft a linebacker? You see what I'm saying? Like, can I just do that?
No. You know, yeah, I completely see what you're saying, because it depends on what we're looking at in the future. Because if Jalen, and what I love what the Cowboys do with these contracts, right? Yeah. Like, and we could say this about any player, right? We could say this about Zeke. We could say this about DeMarcus Lawrence. We could say this about Jalen. We can say this about anybody, because guess what? You're going to have to pay Leighton in a few years, right? What if Jalen if Jalen starts disappointing, you can eject Jalen, and you can put that money towards LVE, or you can do what, like you're saying, you can maybe just put that money towards Gallup, keep this offensive unit, as the juggernaut it is, intact, and just go draft a linebacker with a top pick. Whether that means you have to trade up or down to go get one, do what you got to do. Because guess what? That's how these teams that stay on top, because they keep the players that they know keeps them on top, and then what they end up doing is drafting players on cheap, like the whole safety position, right? Mm-hmm. When you look at the safety position, odds are the top-level safety doesn't go off the board until the average it's the late first round, but most of the time they end up getting into the second round. So if you really, really, really want a safety, all you got to do is trade up in the second round, give up third or fourth round draft capital, and go get your guy if you really want your guy. Otherwise, there's no point in spending a first-round pick on a safety unless it's like the next coming of Ed Reed or whatever, which I'm not, listen, if you're pick number 32 and you want to spend a first-round pick on a safety, I'm not saying don't do that. Mm-hmm. But because that first-round draft capital is important, because you get that that fifth-year option with them. So instead of having them for 4 years, you have them for 5 years, and you can really have some flexibility there. That's what I love about how the Cowboys are going about with their first-round picks, because you have that flexibility there. And, yeah, some of them are safe picks, but that's why with Lamb, at least we're not with Lamb, you have him for 5 years. Right. With Cooper and Gallup, you have a decision to make down the line in 2 years. Well, really, not with Cooper, because Cooper's under contract. But you get what I'm saying? Like, how you're how you're telling me, like, okay, do we drop Cooper to keep Gallup if all things are considered? And what's crazy about that is, like, we can afford to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what And that's what I love about how the Cowboys are going about this, is like the fact that we're having this conversation shows that this team's on the right track.
So so I just pulled up a list of wide receivers, right? Or just the past drafted wide receivers. So what I'm trying to figure out now is I'm trying to figure out how hard is it to find a replacement wide receiver. You know what I mean? Would I rather have Gallup over this person or that person? And I'm looking at his class right now. DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley, Cortland Sutton, Dante Pettis, Christian Kirk, Anthony Miller, James Washington. He's smoking all of them. He's smoking all them children. I don't even think it's close. The year before that, Corey Davis, Mike Williams, John Ross, Zay Jones, Curtis Samuel, Jiu-Jitsu Smith, who looks real different without Antonio Brown over there. I like Cooper Kupp a lot. It's hard to find guys. Carlos Henderson, like I don't like. I think I could find linebackers every year. You know what I mean? And this ain't just me blowing hot air because I'm draft guy and I study the hell out of draft every year. I think it's a lot more linebackers you can find than wide receiver. And this ain't just me hating on. This ain't just me hating on Jalen Smith right now. But I think if it's a way you can keep them 3 receivers, do what Baltimore do every single year. They drafting linebackers and edge guys. Linebackers and edge guys. So when C.J. Mosley won a big-ass payday, they say, no, we drafted your replacement 2 years ago. He's ready to go now. You know what I'm saying? Sorry. You know what I mean? They move on from whatever. They just constantly bringing in guys and they saving money there so they can put their money in the other places. I want to do that. I don't need my defense to be a juggernaut right now because the last team I just saw win the Super Bowl, they won it with offense and being opportunist on defense. Just give me some opportunists on defense, some free agents, if you will. Let me keep Gallup. Get Jalen the hell up out of here. Go ahead.
No, yeah, well, my thing is like every year, like when you're looking at the draft, there's going to be a certain way the draft falls, right? Because, you know, we talk about the receivers, right? And we can look at 2019, right? The first receiver that came off the board was Hollywood Brown, and that was the 25th pick after the Ravens traded up to get him. And he was the best receiver on the board at that time. So, you know, I can't say like for certain, oh, it's always like this because, again, the draft board will fall different every single year based on the type of players that are going into that draft. Like, you know, you look at this year, right? You had a very deep receiver class, and you had a bunch of receivers going the first round. Granted, the way it went was kind of funny because I was shocked that CeeDee Lamb fell, but granted, you look at the Raiders, they went for the best guy that had the highest speed at the combine. Like, it's just, there are teams that have their own mindset of what they want. And so for the Cowboys, right, you look at these teams, right, they're going to go after guards, they're going to go after tackles, they're going to go after tight ends. The Cowboys aren't going to do that, right? So that's what helps push the players you want down to you. So that even includes linebackers, but sometimes there are teams that want to go get those linebackers. So for me, I think it depends on year to year because, like, I'm with you. Like, I personally think that linebackers are easier to replace than wide receivers, if you get what I'm saying. Because with wide receivers, you can say this about any player, but, like, if you have your guys, right, and you know that you're going to get production out of them, you want to keep them together. But, like, what's that?
No, go ahead. I agree with you. Go ahead.
No, and, like, and for me, like, I'm all for best player available, right? And like, and you could say like, well, what if a tackle and a guard is the best player? I'm like, okay, I don't care. You know, like you want to keep improving your team, and so I want the best player that's on the board that can just plug right in, and you got a guy that's immediately productive for 5-10 years or 5 years at minimum. But like you look at what was it? Let me take a look right now because I'm just trying to make sure I'm not just spewing nuts. Like you look at this year, right? The first linebacker that came off the board was Isaiah Simmons, which really he's one of those flexible guys that you could play him at safety or whatever. But then the next linebacker to come off the board was Kenneth Murray. I don't count Kalavion Chase on as a line because like he's more of an edge guy in my honest opinion. Yeah. But like if we're talking like just linebackers that like the coverage linebacker type of guys.
Sure.
Like the next one came off the board at 23 when the Chargers traded up. So like every year is different. So like I think if the Cowboys can play the draft game, the draft product, because that's my like forte. I like to see how the draft board falls and see how you can maneuver to go get those guys. Because you're gonna have teams that don't need linebackers. You're gonna have teams that don't need wide receivers. So honestly, if you really want a guy, like let's say Isaiah Simmons is falling to you and like you don't need a receiver, like let's say we already have those guys, right?
Sure.
And you can afford to be like, okay, if I'm going to spend a second-round pick on something like a linebacker, why not I go get the best guy by giving up some draft capital, go get that best guy, right? Sure. That's how my honest forte when it comes to drafting. Like, I don't want okay, if you're going to draft linebacker, go get the best guy. I'm not a guy that's like, okay, I'm going to sit back and get someone that's just going to fill in the hole. Like, if I know I can go get that guy and I know I have the numbers to make it work, do it. It makes your team better. And if you're going to use that second-round pick on some other random position that you really don't need, then you're wasting that draft pick, in my opinion.
I think I have a solution, and after this, we'll move on. 'Cause you know what I'm saying? I got some more callers. But
Yeah,
I do,
I'm sorry, man.
No,
I
you
don't
good.
wanna
No,
keep-
you good. You good. This all good shit. I have a solution, and I would love to hear the chat box response to this. Y'all might kill me for this, but you know, like whatever. Cut Zeke, and go young at running back. I would hate to do it. I'm a big fan of Zeke, but like, you know, if you would have drafted one of the running backs this year, you'd have felt good about the running back position. Like even in the third rounds, if you would have drafted a running back, you'd have felt good about it. Like if you had J.K. Dobbins and Tony Pollard, you feel fantastic about your running back situation. You know what I mean? And I don't want to I don't want to let Zeke go. I don't hate Zeke. But in 20, let me look this up. Give me 30. I just had to pull it up. And in a couple years, in a handful of years, Zeke gonna be owed $15.4 million. $15.4 million. 16.6 the year after that. I like Zeke. But boy, if I'm cutting corners to keep things, you know what I'm saying, copacetic, I might look at him first. I don't know. But Cardo, this was fantastic, man. Plug your show, please.
Yes, sir. If you guys haven't followed me already, you can follow me at Space Cowboy 17 on YouTube. I'll be dropping the link momentarily. I have some great information and pieces that help you fight I Am Legend monsters or the Peanut Gallery with their idiocy and other nonsense. Make sure you go check it out. Voch, thank you so much for having me on. Let's get to those other callers, man. Thank you.
100%, man. Appreciate a great call. Listen, like, I ain't saying cut Zeke because he trash or nothing. Zeke's fantastic. Zeke is amazing. But Dak Prescott just threw for 5,000 yards and had one of the best videos of all time. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think, man, like who's leading your offense right now? And I like Zeke. But can I take that $16 million, turn it into $700,000, and do something else with it? That's my thoughts. Can I turn one running back into three, save $15 million, and y'all wanna go pay for defense so bad? Take that 15 and go buy somebody on defense. If that's what you want to do so bad. You know? I think it's interesting. I got some more callers though. Let's see what y'all talking about. We got 1, 2, 3. We got a couple people on the phone. We got Bill Nye up next. Bill Nye, the science guy. My guy Nye. Nye up next. Josh from Dallas on deck, or Josh Dallas, or Josh from Dallas. I don't know. I'll ask. Nye up next. Josh Dallas on deck, and 972 in the hole. Let's see what the dealio is. Nye, what up, man?
What's up, Voch?
Everything. Cooling. What you got for the show?
I'm not going to take too much time, but I'm watching right now Colin Cowherd's show, and can I please just say...
No, why you doing that? No. Why you watching Colin Cowherd? Why you watching TV? What you watching ESPN for? What are you doing?
Let me finish. Can you please have a petition to get this guy off of TV?
Nope.
Because I need you to please, can you, 12 o'clock, 3 hours, can you have a show? Because I can't stand watching this guy.
Let me tell you something.
This guy is such a phony.
First of all, if you can't stand watching them, you wouldn't watch them. Plus, I can petition all day, but as long as people watching, he gets ratings. If he gets ratings, he gonna be on TV. You part of the problem. This is your fault. He's on TV because of you. Just cut the TV off, or just put YouTube on your TV. Easy peasy.
Nah, I mean, I just had it on because I was watching Skip and Shannon, and I do like Skip, so he's funny. So I do watch him, and it was just on.
I guess.
But
what's up though?
But yeah, I just watch it. It's just like it's just terrible. Like his football knowledge is so out of pocket with some of the things, even with the Dak situation. So I just watched him in a segment because I just had it on, and he basically tried to call Dak out for being terrible without having Tyron Smith or Zeke Elliott. And basically, he's a Carson Wentz guy, so he gives him praise for having all them guys missing out last season. When in reality, when Carson Wentz had all his guys out last season, and Dak had a bad, what they would consider a bad season, with suspended Zeke for 6 games, and Tyron Smith out most of the season, Zach Martin out most of the season. I think Leo Collins went out a few games, Sean Lee out of most of the season. The guy went 9-7. Can anybody remind me what Carson Wentz's record was last year?
You know what you just told me?
Okay.
You just told me. You know what, Voch? I ate at a restaurant. That restaurant is terrible, and they should tear that motherfucker down. It was nasty, and the health inspector should come and tear that restaurant down and shut it down. I'm gonna go eat at it one more time though, just to do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do it this time. But after this, we need to shut it down. Voch, you need to make a restaurant so I can go eat at your restaurant. I'm gonna eat over here till you make yours, Voch, but it's nasty up in there. That's what you just said to me. You just said that to me.
No, I mean, look, I'm gonna say like this. This is quarantine. You kind of force feeding yourself sometimes with
No, you don't.
stuff, but even though you don't want to.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you know.
I got you now. I appreciate
if you were to live stream for 3 hours, I'm coming to the show every time. I can't stand this guy.
I got you now. I agree, man. Carson Wentz is not as good as Dak Prescott, and to be fair, Colin Cowherd is probably just saying the shit for the ratings, for the conversation.
Yeah.
It seems to be a topic that gets big views, and they can chop it up, put it on YouTube, and get even more views. So you're contributing to the problem. Great call, now. I appreciate you, Doc.
No, I appreciate you.
Yeah. That boy.
The conference has been locked.
That boy just said. That boy just said, listen, man. I'm on a diet. I can't have ice cream. I'm going to have it this time, though. I got diabetes. I'm going to go ahead and have it this time, though, but I'm going to eat this ice cream until Voch come out with a damn sugar-free, gluten-free ice cream, and then we going to da-da-da, boom, boom, boom. Moving on. Float on. We got 3 callers up in here, and I just want to let y'all know, after we get through with these callers, we're going to go over and watch some film. I'm dropping some film today, a Michael Gallup film session, so just in case some of y'all forgot, in case some of y'all, forgot how good Michael Gallup was, I just wanted to put a short little film session together. But what's so special about the film session is that I edited it on my new film editing software. Ooh. But it took me a week to do it, so, like, give me time to continue to learn it and all that, but we gonna get there. 972 up next, 318 on deck, and 253 in the hole. Let's see. 972, what up? Who this?
What's going on? How you doing, man?
Everything, my guy. What you got for the show?
Hey, man, first off, I just want to say I appreciate you, bro, Voch, man, all your content and everything, all you do for the Cowboys community. Appreciate you for, like, counteracting these lame Cowboy fans that's always, like, so fickle, man. They, like, the type of people that you get players, your quarterback 26 going on 27, and we talked about Michael Gallup. Dude is only 24. What's up with people trying to get rid of all the young players? Trade this guy, trade that guy, when you got young dudes that's on the rise, getting better year by year. Like, what's up with that?
Because they would rather have guys like Rico Gathers on the team. You know what I'm saying? They want the guy that's bad but have upside. They don't want good guys on their team. That's just how they are. That's how they are.
I just don't get that. Rico was good for, like, a little bit in the preseason, but I mean, like, what I see in this team, I truly believe, like, the core players we have right now, including Zeke. I know you said, the whole cut Zeke thing. I'm not willing to go that route just yet, but I think this core, man, can get at least 2 championships in, and I say that at the least. Like, and then another thing, we got to take into account, we got a whole new coaching dynamic. I would love to see what these players can give us with proper coaching, especially that defensive back end and everything like that. And we know how that failed us in previous years.
Sure. Just to kind of touch on the whole Zeke thing, I'm with you. Like, I ain't trying to get rid of Zeke right now neither, because I'm in this Super Bowl window. But I think in 2 years, in 2 to 3 years, things gonna get kind of weird. Some guys gonna have to retire. all the salaries gonna get pushed together at one time. We're gonna need to make some decisions. And I think that if I'm forced to make a decision, I would rather let Zeke walk than someone like, Cooper or something walk. You know what I mean? Just like I like Zeke a bunch, but if I had to pick out a Zeke and Byron Jones, like I would have picked Byron Jones and just drafted a running back. But Byron gone, so now we just got to run with Zeke. You see what I mean? So I ain't necessarily trying to get rid of Zeke. It's just if I had to pick, I'm picking a running back.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess me personally, I'm just biased toward like homegrown guys,
Sure.
people that we have and we raise up. Especially when you get a guy like Zeke and he come in to be top back in the league,
Sure.
in that club, and still got more to prove. I don't think he coming into this season looking like his career is on the tail end or anything like that. He trying to get better just like everybody else trying to get better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. 100%. Zeke good, man. Zeke good, bro. It's just that when I look at how hard it is to find offensive linemen or how hard it is to find quarterback or, quality receivers, I think we got 3 quality level number 1, almost 1B type receiver guys, man. I think it's hard to find those guys. And I would rather let go of the guys to where it's easy to find, some like a different option, right? Like it's hard to find like there are new pass rushers every year. Every year there's a new pass rush. There's new cornerbacks every year. Like I'll let go of some of those guys just to be able to bring in some new guys. I could draft cornerback every single year. I think I'll be fine. I could draft linebacker and safety every single year. I think I'll be fine. You know what I mean? So, just running back one of them positions though. This was a great call, brother. What's your name? Who is this?
Lauren, by the way. I'm from Dallas, man.
Lauren from Dallas. I'm about to put you in platinum, Lauren. Let me see, cause you this your first time calling?
Yes, sir, man. Been listening for a while. Man, decided to go ahead and hit you guys up. Make my presence known with the Cowboy YouTube community.
My man. Platinum caller Lauren from Dallas. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, my guy. Have a good one, man.
Yes, sir. It's the return of the Trillet. All right, let's see. 2 more callers. 318 up next. 253 in the hole. Then we're going to dip out. Well, we're going to take chat box.
Oh, sir, where you at?
Whoa.
What's up?
Whoa. Hello?
Hello?
Is somebody kidnapping you, man?
Oh, what up?
What's up,
No.
What up?
I'm at work. Man. Good night for Shreveport, man.
Where you work at? Where you hollering, screaming at people?
I'm on top of Michael's, man. I'm doing some AC work. I was hollering at somebody I know down in the parking lot, man.
Boy, I thought I thought John Wick was coming. All right, my guy, what's good? What you got for the show?
Nah. Man, I done called in before. That was on my trap phone. I think you had me platinum. But this my personal phone here.
Okay, who this
I just had
who's this?
This Nate from Shreveport.
Nate from Shreveport. All right, Nate. All right, I got you. What you got for the show? Go ahead.
Mo.
Mo from Shreveport. M.O. from Shreveport. Oh, okay. I got you, Mo.
Yeah.
I got you, Mo. All right, go ahead.
Oh, good, bro.
Go
But
ahead.
I just had a point or two, man. Like,
Go ahead.
I caught the soliloquy video you did, man.
Yes, sir.
That's good shit right there, man. That's real good shit, man. I ain't gonna lie. I used to be with the whole late night hype stuff and all that, but I caught them off of you.
Yeah.
That's like they real deal legit over there, man.
Yes, sir.
And I wouldn't have never known about them if it wasn't for you.
Yes, sir.
And I support them big time just like I support you. I've been on you since the Sean Oakland video, dog.
Damn.
But
appreciate it.
you had a good point with the whole Michael Gallup thing. Like I really did feel like give him a year or two, I feel like he's gonna be like a top 10 receiver in the league. Like people want to down him because we got CD and everything, but I think homeboy legit, man. He getting out the muscle, man. I think he gonna come out with a bigger year than a lot of people expect. So I'm kind of with you on that. A couple years down the line, I'd rather see Zeke walk and let TP and somebody else handle the load, and we keep Gallup, we keep CD, we keep Coop. We just drop about 45 on everybody's head every week, man.
Can you imagine in like 2 years or so? Let's just say like 2 years. We got 3 top 10 receivers or like 3 top 15 receivers. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that, man? That is crazy.
They down on Gallup, but man, Gallup a dog. Like I really feel in my heart like Gallup gonna come
You gonna come with it this year. He like the forgotten man right now. For people who don't know nothing about this football stuff, like like us YouTube people, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But that's about all I had, man. I just wanted to state my facts on that. I ain't gonna lie. You said Coach Zeke. I had just got on. My knees kind of buckled a little bit, but after I thought about it, like knees buckled. I thought about it. I was like, you know what? We get somebody else in there, no power, no quick twitch type of running back, whichever.
Yeah.
We'll be straight as long as we keep tackling these old linemen in and out, man. We'll be straight, man. We keep our core together.
Yep.
We can throw anybody back there and give it to our top 15 receivers all day, man.
I feel you, Mo. Appreciate it, man. I just added your second and third phone to the platinum list, so when you call in on this phone, I know who it is. Appreciate you, player.
Already, Doc.
Yes, sir. Mo say that was my trap phone is what that was. Mo said that was the other phone. Mo, that's the phone. That's the phone that Mo do dirt on. That's that phone. That's that phone that don't even come in the house. That's the phone that just be in the backyard in an old Pringle can or something, sitting in the backyard just up under some leaves, just hiding, just Mo keeping all his dirty business in that phone. The phone that come in the house is safe. That's business, mom, kids, friends, all the debauchery on the phone in the damn tater chip bag in the backyard. That's a debauchery phone. Anyway, last call of the day. We gonna talk to the chat box for a little bit. Then we're gonna go watch some film together as a family. We do events over here, you heard? 253. What's up? Who this?
What's up, Voch? It's Miller, man.
What's up, Miller? What you got for the show?
Man, I got a question, and I'm kind of radical in this thought of, with Dak Prescott's contract situation coming on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sort of thinking of different options. Maybe we can talk to our buddy Bill O'Brien, since he's so willing to deal everybody. Maybe we can do a quick swap, Dak and Watson, give up a pick or something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we're more willing to pay Watson than we are Dak.
I'm sorry. You say we said it again?
Maybe we can do a little swap with our buddy Bill O'Brien for Dak and Watson, Maybe we're more willing to pay Watson than we are Dak.
Why the hell we do that?
I'm just saying, if we're so hesitant to pay Dak, I got to imagine, everybody's more willing to get behind Watson than they are Dak. Just, from general perspective, I like Watson a lot. Not saying I don't like Dak, but the general perspective seems to be Watson over Dak.
Well, I think Dak is better than Watson, first of all. But I don't think the Cowboys don't want to pay Dak. It's just that Dak just don't want the number that the Cowboys offer them, or they don't want the deal, or Dak's agent. Let me say that Dak's agent doesn't like how the deal looks or whatever. He's just not, he just hadn't settled on the chair. But the Cowboys want to make Dak the highest paid quarterback in the league. I don't think that means that they don't want Dak.
No, I don't think that at all.
Okay.
It's kind of weird that the contract hasn't been done yet. And I got one more question real quick about the kicker situation.
Uh-huh.
Man, I like Kai Forbath. Like, he performed for us.
Sure.
Like, what's up with Greg Zuerlein?
Greg is. We gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see. Kai Forbath basically on a "what have you done for me lately" thing. He's gone 10 for 10. He didn't miss none of his kicks. So, I like Forbath, but Zuerlein missed a few of his. I think he was injured or something like that, or coming off an injury. So, just let them compete in camp and let them kick all preseason, and we'll see.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
All right, player. I appreciate it. All right, Miller. I just added you platinum, Miller. Miller say, let's trade Dak for Deshaun Watson. For what? For why? I'm taking one more call. Set it off, Chris. Call back in.
The conference has been unlocked.
Don't nobody but set it off, Chris. Call back in, because I got film at 2 o'clock. That's 10 minutes. So set it off, Chris, and call in. But don't nobody else call in. Only Chris. We're going to hear what Chris got to say. Then we're going to talk to the chat box. Chat box, y'all got any questions? I saw Short Dog say everybody got a trap phone. Voch ain't got no trap phone. Voch got a phone. Voch got a singular phone. Anyway, That makes sense. Yeah, set off, Chris. Call back. And chat box, of course, if you have any questions, we'll be, I'll answer your questions. But the show got to be done at 1:59 because we got film to go watch. You heard? So so as we wait on Set It Off Chris to come back in, because some people just privileged. Like there's regular callers and there's platinum folk, but some people just privileged. All right, here we go.
The conference has been locked.
Gonna lock it back up. Set It Off Chris. What's crackin' playing?
What's up, man? How you doing, bro?
Everything, my guy. What's good?
Hey, man, beautiful day out here in Bob Beach, man. I turn on the the YouTube presentation. As always, it's immaculate.
Yes.
And Miller on here talking just poppycock out here in these streets, man. Talking that foolishness, man, about getting rid of my quarterback.
What's wrong with him, Doc?
Listen.
What's wrong with him, Doc?
Hey, man, I have maybe the aftermath of being locked in the house.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of residue from his mask, from maybe being outside and a little COVID may have kicked in. But there's under no circumstance that I would ever get rid of Rain Dakota Prescott. The deal will get done. Let's not worry about all the other foolishness about the deal, man. The deal gonna happen. Rain's gonna be in Dallas. Jerry wants him there. 4 or 5 years, whatever it is. That's not the thing you're worried about. The thing you're looking at is all the wonderful things they've done thus far to this point. Okay?
Yeah.
Gallup and Smith, if you listen to his conference call, it seems like he's got his head on straight and just humbled to be back in the league. I'm still looking for my man, 50 grand, Randy Gregory, for his reinstatement, and just watching them unleash hell, man, on people this year, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Go ahead.
No, I'm listening, man. I'm just, like I said, your audience is so diverse, and their football IQ is so high. A lot of times, man, I just come back and listen to the replays, man, just to listen to the depth of knowledge that people have out there, man. And me and you done talked about this before time and time again, man. I done gave you flowers, man. I'm going to give you them all the time, man. Like I said, man, 3 years ago, man, when you and the day job broke up, you changed your life, man.
Yeah.
I tell you this all the time, and when we win this ball and we popping bottles and Nene in the background wondering why me and you jumping up and down on each other, that's going to be there. I'm going to be able to say to your face, man, I'm proud of you, man. I'm extremely proud of you, man, what you've done. And, man, you ain't selfish about what your gift is, man.
Yeah.
And that's why this 55,000 is, just a kick in the bucket, man.
Yeah.
It's a kick in the bucket. But I wanted to touch on this. We talking about getting rid of Zeke and things of that nature. I've been doing some work with Frankly Football, and if anybody gets any time, humble plug, take a look at it, man. Brandon has got a wealth of knowledge. But we've been looking at, we had talked about a year before where we were talking about 2019, 2020 line. Because in 2018, we weren't really crazy about Lyle Collins.
Right.
Lyle Collins turned the corner last year.
Yes.
And is on the verge, on the precipice of being a perennial all-pro right tackle in this league.
Yes.
And if you don't believe me, go look at the film. Mike's got a shirt out there saying, I watch film. You go watch Lyle Collins from 2018 to 2019. Leaps and bounds better. So when we were talking about that line being, we were talking about Lyle Collins going back to guard. We were talking about Connor Williams going back to right tackle, and Tyron Smith being a god who he is. But now with everything that's coming along, I truly think that, and you're gonna go over it, and we gotta speculate because we haven't gotten to camp yet and things of that nature. More and more I see it, man. The Cowboys bringing in another offensive lineman every year, and I think sitting him and working him out, or letting him sit and grow into his man body is going to be a commonplace thing. They're going to continue to bring guys within that top 100, maybe not the top tier tackle, or maybe the second or maybe the third best tackle, and bring that guy and let him sit. Or a guy that's played big time football and give him an opportunity to sit and develop behind these guys. Because I think that your new left tackle going to 2021, 2022, is already on your roster.
Sure.
And many people may not like, but Connor Williams is that guy.
Sure.
Connor Williams could be that guy. Or Brandon Knight could turn around and turn around and be your swing. But, man, just continue to watch the tape, people, man. Continue to plug into every guy that Voch, talked about. The Big Game James, the Law Nations, the Foots the Kings. My favorite of all, Space Cowboy, man. All these guys out there, man, dig into them. And leave that foolishness of arguing on. Man, and man, if you're paying for sports channels, pay for them. That's fine. You got to have them. But, man, don't go to them for your content. Don't go to them for your information and go to them for your knowledge.
I tell you what, Chris, we had a caller earlier. I think it was Mo. I could be wrong. It was probably, I don't know, like somebody. But they was like, yeah, Voch, I never heard of Late Night Hype. You know what I'm saying? Until you told him to go watch him. And now I like and now I like Late Night Hype. And that's kind of what that's supposed to be about. That's what it was supposed to do. Space Cowboy needs a bigger audience. Everybody need to work. And of course, I mean, I can't mention everybody. I can't put everybody in the video. But
of course you can. Right.
But when I'm doing these live streams or whatever, if I hear, I tell everybody, hey, plug your show. Plug your show. This is a free forum for anybody to call into my show and sell yourself. Space Cowboy know what the hell he doing, because he'll come on this show and he'll have that damn link ready to go in that chat box. He'll drop that link 6 times, but he'll spit that hot fire. He'll spit some hot fire and then drop his link, and somebody will go, let me go listen to him. So if there's any YouTuber listening, you can have 12 views right now. That's exactly what this phone is for. And I don't care about people plugging them. Plug your show. If you did well, they'll go listen. That's what this whole thing is for, man.
Absolutely, man. I mean, it's just out there, and guys have grown from that. Like you said, when Okoye came on the scene, everybody's like, who the hell is this guy? Right. But he's got the dopest acronym of damn near anybody out here. Acquired knowledge over years of experience. The dude, that caught me out the gate. His acronym alone caught me out the gate. And then his football IQ and his knowledge is great, man. But, man, everybody out here, man, just continue to plug this thing, continue to support my dude. I remember back in the day, Voch, when Arizona Cardinal fan would get on here, man, and before he left, man, he would say, yo, man, everybody, give Voch some love. Remember them days, bro? Remember them days?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. He would before he would get off the phone, he would say, yo, show Voch support, man. And, man, it's been well worth it, man. I'm enjoying the ride, man. I'm looking for everything that's going on. Look, hey, man, here's my question, man. I got one question for you. It ain't football related. Yo, man, what the heck? The ending of Ozark, man. Where the hell that going?
We gonna have to talk about that. We gonna have to talk about that on Voch's voice. Yeah, go ahead. We gotta talk about that on Voch's voice. I can't spoil it for the people.
Come on.
I can't.
I'm there, but I'm okay. You know what? Whenever Voch's voice drops, you know I'm gonna be there with you, man.
But I tell you what, I will say this though before I let you go. They's in a pickle now. They in a pickle now. Hey, listen, let me tell you something.
They's in trouble now.
Hey, Chris, look, it's a difference. Like, at first, they kind of work for him, or they work for him now. That's a whole nother bag.
Yeah, man. Man, if ain't nobody watch it, they're going to have to get into it. Yeah, but when you do that right there, it's over. You know, you definitely going to have to be with them. Yo, man, love talking to you. Love spending time with you, man. I'll be checking out the film with you, man.
Appreciate it. Set it off, Chris. Right on time. Listen, I'm dropping my link in my chat box right now. Let's run on over to the Michael Gallup film session. I think people are out of bounds for trying to trade Michael Gallup in a first-round pick for Jamal Adams. So I just wanted a little bit of a refresher course for your number 2 receiver. So, I appreciate y'all. Y'all hold it down for the Doski Woski and the Peasky Wheesky. This is fun. And give me your feedback on what I did with the video when y'all go watch it. I'll meet you over there. Salute. I appreciate y'all for coming through. Until next time, tell Big Game James I want smoke. Peace, y'all.